Hey everyone, it's Story here. So I wanted to introduce another video to the Tumblr RPing series. This one's going to be all about terminology, and it's going to be shorter because it's just going to be me giving terms and a little description on each of them. So let's begin. So the first term is admin, and what the admins are, they are the people who run the role plays. There are usually at least two, and they all are the ones that end up reading your applications, accepting them, they answer all the questions, they do the graphics. There's a lot of things that go into being an admin, which I will be covering in a different video. But just so you know, they are the people in charge of the role plays. So that's who they are. Next, I'm going to go over Canon. And what Canon means is what is accepted as truth within a fandom of any sort. That's canon. A lot of times, usually it's with characters and canon characters. It just means that the character already has an established history within the fandom, be it TV show, movie, or book, or anything really. Which is going to lead me to headcanon. And headcanon varies from just plain old canon because it is meant to be different than what the original canon is, meaning what the original TV show or movie or book series states. And the reason I say headcanon is because it's specific to you. For instance, you take on one character and they're meant to end up with a different one, but you decide that you don't ship those two together, so they end up with someone else. So that's your headcanon. It's different than what is originally previously stated and established in a TV show, movie, or book series. Next is AU, which stands for Alternate Universe. And it's very simple. It just means it's usually established canon may not be canon any longer. Meaning it varies in a different way, such as headcanon, but on a greater scale, because it's the whole RP, not just a singular character. Is a crossover. And a crossover is a roleplay that involves more than one or two different fandoms. Meaning there could be the show Glee and Harry Potter universe mixed together, which I have seen and is out there. So you have the characters from Glee, however, you are set in the Harry Potter universe. So that's what a crossover is. Next is face claims, and they are normally represented with the letters FC, and they are the celebrity that portrays your character. They're not necessarily always actors and actresses. They can be athletes, musicians, YouTubers. They're just there to represent the face of your character that you imagine. Next will be GIF combos. And what they are is they are the dashboard interactions between characters while using character reaction GIFs as well as text. Therefore, meaning you're using your face claim and text to interact with other characters. They can be very easy to simply do all the time and never do pairs, but I highly recommend that you focus on developing your characters and using the GIF combos for silly things or maybe interacting with different characters that you haven't done yet, because that's what I really use them for, is to start interactions and conversations with characters that I haven't really explored a relationship with yet. OCs. Now, OCs stand for original characters, and they can be written by the admins already or of your own creation. They can be for yourself, they could be anything you really want as long as it fits well with the admins and with the plots of the roleplay. Next is OOC, which stands for out of character. And it really has more to do with activity on the dash. because most people don't want out of character posts on the Dash. There's a set place for that, and that is called a out of character blog or an out of character chat. Some people do Chatsy or different various chat rooms, or they have a private blog, a side blog, where everyone posts in out of character to do plots or just really chat in general. But on the Dash, sometimes you end up posting things. So usually what you would do is you put it under Read More, and then you tag it with OOC. And this lets people know that it has nothing to do with your character, it has to do with you personally. Next is para, which I've gone over before, but just a little reverse background. It stands for paragraph, and they are the longer interactions between your character and another, and they're usually between at least 3 paragraphs. I've done mini paras, which are about 1 paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs each, but really this is the bulk of Tumblr RPing. This is what you're going to be doing most of the time. Next is going to be side blog, and a side blog is a blog that is made under the same account as your original one, meaning you have your personal Tumblr and you just make another account under that. And I've kind of gone over this in the last video, but I just wanted to again go over it just a little bit more. And a couple of reasons that I'm not a huge fan of side blogs, and most people aren't, when it comes to creating a character's page, is because you can't ask questions as a side blog, and it's just a lot more difficult to navigate on the Dash with one. So I highly recommend not using a side blog to create your page for your character. Most people don't even want it, so just keep that in mind, that if you have a new character, new account. Next is NSFW, and that stands for Not Safe for Work. And this means it's in posts including smut, gore, or a trigger warning. And most of the time, if you ever question it, usually you should tag it NSFW or put it under Read More, both. Which brings me also to trigger warnings. They are something that the general public might most of the time don't want to read unless they actively want to. Therefore, you tag it trigger warning and tag it with the specific topic like suicide. Next is NPC, which are non-played characters. They are usually the background to paras or really anything. For instance, if your character is going to a coffee shop or a cafe, the cashier, barista, they're NPCs. They, you can have your character interact with them, but they're not played by someone else. And lastly, I'm going to go over god modding. And this is a big topic. It is a huge no-no in the Tumblr role-playing world, actually in any role-playing world, so to speak. It's where you're controlling another person's character. And it's always in the rules or guidelines of any roleplay I've seen ever, even independent roleplaying. Always is there, because it's just not a polite thing to do. It's not polite to, write the speech or the actions of another character because you don't have control of that specific one. You have control of your own. And this also does refer as well to having your character be overly powerful or pretty much invincible in, a fight or something. So god modding is a huge no. And another point to bring up is when it comes to god modding, and when it comes to having a character that you think is over powerful and should be invincible in a fight, everyone has weaknesses. Every person, every character I've ever read or watched on TV, there are weaknesses because that's the human nature. And flaws and weaknesses, they help create a more realistic character, and more people will want to interact with you if you have a character that has a flaw, or 3 or 5, or everything almost about them is flawed. So that's just another thing I wanted to bring up. If you have any questions, comments about that, feel free to message me. I mean, if you go under a Google search for God modding, I'm sure you'll find great things. Which brings me to the end of this video, where I'm going to definitely put some links in the description of resources of terminology, because I haven't done all of them. I've just done a small amount that I could fit. So once again, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this series every couple weeks or once a month. It just kind of happens when I find the time to sit down and do it and record it. But I am getting a good response, and I do enjoy any questions that anyone has for me. Also, stay tuned for another video later, because there is another one coming out. And happy holidays. Stay warm. If you're in the East Coast like me, where we're snowed in and it's freezing out and it's going to be 1 degree tonight. So excited. So yeah. Till next time.